Welcome back. Before the break, I raised so many questions with Tania. Now it's Tania's turn to answer.
Well, you also answered, and I said I agreed with you also. For the viewers, if I may sum up, the issue was, all this empowerment of women and all the contributions they're giving in, to the society, image of Bangladesh, what are they getting in return? Answer, not much. And I want to respond it.
Why not?
In two ways. You see, often we find sort of do-gooders, patriarchs. They say, well, women are being so badly treated, don't go to work, right? So it's a double-edged sword. So I want to use the platform of your program to make it very clear that this argument is a double-edged sword. We have to be very careful. So when, as activists and for empowerment of women, we want to improve the conditions within the workplace. Having toilets, it's an issue. When you're working for, 10 hours and, it's a women's health issue, not even have proper toilets. So what are you even talking about, pay rise and all that? Even sometimes
and when they go to the toilet,
yes,
that for 5 or 10 minutes, that is deducted from their work time.
Yeah, let me develop it because I don't want to become microscopic because time is very little. So what is very important is to use this argument not in a negative way. Often we find, people will say, well, when women are borrowing money, the rate of interest is usury. So women shouldn't borrow, stay home. Yeah?
No, we never say that.
No, I'm not talking about you. I want to alert the public at large that when we talk about this, what the women are getting and so on, we have to talk about it from a rights discourse. It's not that, well, you're better off staying home, you're better off allow me to look after you. So we shouldn't use it as a disempowerment issue.
Okay, that's understood.
Wait, it's not, but it's not understood, Neaz. You may understand it, but it's not understood. In my professional capacity, I'm saying, this whole concept of safe custody that we fought, it is from this welfare perspective. So this welfare thing, that we talk about, often in the, if we unpackage this welfare, often rights are being encroached in the name of your welfare. Okay, so this is very, very important of a patriarchal society where, Bangladesh is. So I want to flag that, and I want to be very loud about it, because whenever we engage in discourse, things get distorted, and often for the welfare, in the name of her welfare, often her liberty is encroached upon. Secondly, that I want to mention in terms of, from a policy perspective, I've addressed it from a women's perspective, another policy perspective. And it's not just women, whether it's infrastructure, development, welfare, and even legal infrastructure. All the indicators are that Bangladesh is going to be, by 2020, a middle income country. So we are going to overcome this poverty threshold. Right. So if our growth rate is 7%, what the economists call is that we are in a sustainable takeoff. In other words, we are not, the poverty is not going to be an issue. It's growth, growth, growth. Now I have a little problem with that also, because when we are talking about growth which is not sustainable, which is not planned, where there's income gap, where there's unequitable distribution of resources, if we're mad about growth at any cost and all cost, doesn't it sound like cancer? A cancerous cell is also that, grow, 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 but it has to be harmonious, it has to be holistic. And again, I agree with the sentiment and the emotion that you expressed in the name of your question to me, but it's valid, it's legitimate, and I want to legitimize your concerns. So that is very, very important. Within that framework, when we talk about infrastructure, building even the physical infrastructure is predicated upon a legal infrastructure. If we don't have a legal infrastructure, your physical infrastructure, investment and growth, it's just going to fall apart. And this is not something the policymakers fully understand in Bangladesh, in my experience.
Who are those policymakers?
So when we talk about rule of law, it's very important, okay? Neaz, you just cautioned me first half of the program not to name people. So, you know, I want a consistent signal from you. I don't mind, but then it has to be consistent, okay? So I don't know what the policies of this, channel, but whatever I'm saying, I'm taking full responsibility.
Right. Okay.
So when we talk about policymakers usually, you know, it'll be both the political government and the non-political government, which is the bureaucracy, the civil service,
Right.
and the military bureaucracy as well. So, and the stakeholders in society. Now, where I'm coming from and the vision, mission and the dream that I have of Bangladesh is that the service providers and the service takers, you know, the service receivers, both must have stakeholding in the service that is being provided.
Right.
So I want to see, you know, consumer rights in the sense in government offices. Okay, so someone who is a service recipient can go to the office and, you know, we dream about and talk about digital Bangladesh. One should be able to have a lot more transparency and fill up a form saying, you know, what were their experience? How do they rate the service? Okay, so this sort of transparency, I think, would improve at the micro level. At the macro level, we need vision. A vision of Bangladesh where, you know, investments, resource allocation.
Just one small point.
But I'm answering your question.
Just one small point. When that gentleman answers the question, fills up the questionnaire, will my questionnaire be seen by his boss, the other boss? Will it be really believed? Will it be taken into consideration?
You know, Neaz,
it will not.
You know, Neaz,
in the kind of setup that we have, it will be not.
Neaz, you know, working and living in Bangladesh, I think one has to be an incurable optimist, which is why I'm there. So, so, you know, I am an optimist, okay? I have a lot of faith in our people. The birth of Bangladesh was you know, unthinkable. It was not supposed to happen. We were called a bottomless basket by Henry Kissinger, and no less than our Prime Minister during her first tenure went and obtained an award from Henry Kissinger, who sort of dismissed Bangladesh. Today we are not just living, we are alive, we are kicking, and we are about to become a world-class, you know, and our cricket is doing extremely well.
I like that word kicking. You see, we have to stop kicking our own people who are downtrodden.
That's an advice, but let me just respond to your answer fully. What I wanted to say, Neaz, to respond to your answer fully before the break, which you asked, is that at the moment, you know, the politics is very divisive. It's pro-liberation, anti-liberation, you see, and that doesn't help anyone. I was talking about my dream and my vision of Bangladesh. I want to see all political parties who are going to be pro-liberation. In a sovereign, independent country, how can you have forces that are anti-liberation? And I think the young people, which is why we come back to your question about the ICT trials, that you know, trials against you know, the war criminals and those who committed atrocities and crime against humanities, is so very important. I think that is a very critical phase in our history, Neaz. We must overcome that. And because of that, because it is so tenuous and we are going through a path which is so very sensitive, I think people are just, you know, holding their breath and, you know, putting a zip on in critiquing the government too much. You know, because this is the only government or only political party which seems to be committed to doing that. And once that is done, I feel that, you know, we are going to have opposition in Bangladesh where we are not going to be debating or talking about pro and anti-Bangladesh, pro-liberation, anti-liberation.
We are going to have an opposition
no, let me just
Bangladesh.
Finish.
Do we have an opposition right now?
Let me just finish, Neaz. I'm talking about my dream, and you must allow me to express what my dream is. My ideal Bangladesh, where we're going to have an opposition where all the opposition and the ruling party are all going to be pro-Bangladesh. Okay, pro-liberation. And then we talk about management as to who can better deliver the services that we are talking about, who, you know, is less corrupt, or who is free of all the shackles and encumbrances within the system, who can open the economy up in a responsible manner, who can deliver development, empowerment of the downtrodden.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, this is what my dream is. But at the moment, I feel that we are not politically, and this is so sad because I would love to have that debate as a citizen, and where I want to see the empowerment of citizen, because as you know, Article 7 of our Constitution, I want to end in that note, talks about sovereignty of the people.
Right.
So in Bangladesh, unlike the Westminster model, and this is a distinction I want to make because most people refer to Bangladesh as a Westminster model, but there is a fundamental difference. Here you talk about parliamentary sovereignty. So parliament is sovereign here, yes?
Yes.
We have deconstructed that. So in the old days, in the days of the God kings.
Where does the sovereignty lie in Bangladesh?
With the people. So it is the people.
It's a People's Republic.
It's,
That's
our
the name.
proper name of Bangladesh is People's Republic of Bangladesh.
That's it.
So sovereignty lies with the people. And this is so important jurisprudentially, philosophically, and politically, Neaz. And allow me just a minute to run this down, thousands of years of history. Forgive me, the viewers, because I'm condensing thousands of history because of the time. Two sentences maybe. We had the God kings living on earth. They were the sovereigns and their power was divine, yes? So, and in this country, you've had this battle between parliament and the monarch, as to, who is sovereign. And years of battle, sovereignty is now parliament. In a written constitution in Bangladesh, we deconstructed sovereignty further from divinity to parliament. Here, the sovereignty is the people. And
at least in name.
That's exactly so. What I want to see, what my dream is, that sovereignty is actualized in a practical reality when we find tools, both constitutional and practical and economic and social, where people are actually empowered and they can exercise their sovereignty. So the politicians, the government will see they're going to be serving the people. Now we're at the fag end of your program. You sure you want me to go on about this as to how?
Well, you have had the flow for some time.
Well, the question has just come now. But if you do want me to go on, I'd be quite happy, but you need to invite me again.
We definitely will.
Yes, I'd like to talk about that.
Well, it's a great having you and discussing these things because you have such a positive attitude and a very productive mind, and you can come up with so many legal explanations that would not be understood by many, but at least they sound very convincing.
No, I have full confidence in the common sense of the people. I tried not to be legalistic.
But where is the sovereignty? I mean, we talk about People's Republic of Bangladesh. I mean, can if my own people earning 21 cents a day for 12 hours work, are they the sovereign?
Neaz, I find this question problematic.
Okay, we have just come to
no,
the
but you can't do this to me.
We have to end this
Rana?
show.
Okay, we need.
Up.
Yeah, it's a very important question at the very fag end you have raised. So it's a start, but as I say, the question is dangerous because we don't want these people to go back and saying, well, you're not sovereign, therefore, end of the matter.
No, nobody said that.
But this is what I'm saying. So since they are sovereign constitutionally, what I'd like to invite you, Neaz, from your negative, if you might me saying so, and the viewers, let's work on it together. I don't claim I have all the answers, but what is important is that in the process, and this is my answer, in the process, all the stakeholders need to have space to participate as to how they want to see themselves to be more empowered.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure having you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I was not trying to be negative, but I am only pointing out to the problems that we have, that we face. Thank you for being with us, viewers. We hope that you have enjoyed the show as much as we have. You must have heard and you must have seen in the newspapers and on our television screens, NTV has won the best Asian viewers, television viewers award, and it's the best television channel in the category Bengali channels 2015. And we thank you for your support, our viewers, and without your support we could not have achieved, and without the support of our guests like Tania.
Delighted. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Same time, same channel next week. We see you.
Good.